long term and every day or every night, as the case may be? And excellent question. Now, ideally, the body is supposed to make hormones great your whole life because hormones keep away inflammation, keep away disease. Melatonin is one of those. Ideally, we should be able to make melatonin adequately our whole life. The intestinal microbiome, the good bugs in the gut, actually make melatonin. The pineal gland that sits at the base of the brain makes melatonin, floods the third ventricle in the brain. So we love this stuff. Now, at one point in my life, I was taught that, well, usually melatonin production that's so great as a kid is going to dramatically drop in your teenage years and then get to the point where you really don't, make it much at all. And this is why adults get a lot of, sleep issues. But it's also why you see kids that sleep so unbelievably deeply. So like my daughter Tierney, for example, when she was younger, I go wake her up and it'd be like, sweetie, sweetie, woohoo, time to wake up, sweetie, woohoo, time to wake up. Come on now, we gotta get going. And for like 5 minutes, I'd be doing this, and she'd finally like, what? Wake up like that, right? Where a lot of adults, a little noise in the middle of the night, oh, you're wide awake, right? Well, you're really not getting that deep restorative sleep because you're probably not making melatonin. Kids, oh my gosh, they make so much melatonin, right? It takes them forever to wake them up. They have such deep sleep and restorative sleep, but it's also they're really producing melatonin great. But ideally, we now know that we really have to ideally make melatonin our whole life to keep away disease, including people with higher melatonin levels will have less heart attacks, less stroke, less cancer, less Alzheimer's, less osteoporosis, right? So it's a great example of how hormones do so much more than we tend to give them credit for. Melatonin is not just a sleep-wake cycle regulator. Now, should we take melatonin every night forever? Well, ideally, we should be able to make our own melatonin our whole life, right? Now, when sometimes people use melatonin, let's say they go, oh my gosh, that helps so much. Well, you pretty much know they must have been low in melatonin production on their own because when they took a melatonin supplement, it made them feel better. Somebody who takes it and goes, that made me feel worse, or it actually made me sleep less well. Well, you probably know they're probably making adequate melatonin already on their own. Because when you take it and it makes you feel worse, whatever it is, your body goes, no, I don't need that. I'm doing fine on my own. Thank you very much. You take something that your body should make and your body goes, ooh, I feel better with that. Well, you pretty much know your body's like, yeah, I can't seem to quite make enough of that on my own currently. I sure appreciate you giving to that to me, at least until I can eventually make it on my own. Now, when you take melatonin, you always want to make sure you take nutraceutical grade melatonin supplements. You don't want to do the over-the-counter stuff. They're not tested for purity and content, so they have things in them that you really don't want in your supplements. They don't have in what's probably supposed to be there, and so you always want to use ones that have high quality, including, if you're swallowing a melatonin tablet or capsule, if you're not really able to digest your food and get the nutrients out because it disrupted gut, it may be hard to get it into the system. Higher quality ones, such as one of the ones I like, it can dissolve under your tongue, a sublingual, or you can actually swallow it. Including if you swallow it, it takes longer to get into your system. So you could do that to help keep you asleep all night long. If your trouble is I have a hard time falling asleep, let's say you could use the end of the tongue and it gets absorbed into your system really quick. A little bit like when somebody's having a heart attack and they put sublingual nitroglycerin under the tongue, gets right in, right, to stop the heart attack process. Well, anything under the tongue will get in quick, also like sublingual melatonin. It can really help you fall asleep, but also you could potentially take it in the middle of the night if you wake up and have a hard time falling back asleep because it gets in quick, gets you back to sleep. But also, if it gets in quick, it tends to get out of your system quick. Whereas if you swallow something, it gets in slow and out slow. Well, that melatonin is probably going to be out of your system by the time you need to wake up to go to work or school, and you're not going to feel really groggy the next day. Now, should I take it every day long term? Well, if you can make it on your own, you don't need to take it at all, right? But if you seem to have a hard time making it on your own, even after you fix a lot of other things, well, you may want to take it long term because if you don't have it, you're at an increased risk of heart attack, stroke, osteoporosis, Alzheimer's, and cancer, right? You want to protect yourself from that. Now, there are times when high dose melatonin is helpful. So, like they've seen in people with stage 4 breast cancer, for example, where you have breast cancer, it's metastasized all over the body. They tried chemo, they tried radiation, they tried surgery. It's all failed. People are told, oh, there's nothing more we can do with the traditional allopathic way of addressing cancer. And then anything after that is called compassionate care. Okay. We've run out of options in our traditional allopathic model. Anything you do after that, compassionate care, what they see is when you use high dose melatonin, 30 to 50 milligrams every night, you can stop that cancer progression in its tracks. Doesn't go any farther, right? Now, when we know people of higher melatonin levels have less heart attack, stroke, Alzheimer's, osteoporosis, cancer, you go like, well, and it's so safe, really, there's no real side effects of melatonin other than if you take it, you don't feel as good, your body doesn't feel like it needs extra, right? No reason not to start it before cancer is all over the body, right? You get diagnosed, let's start it right away, right? Now you say, well, geez, some people, they take 1.5 milligrams of melatonin and they feel worse. It keeps them up at night when it's supposed to help them sleep. What happens with 30 to 50 milligrams of melatonin every night? You must be an absolute zombie. Now, the body's too smart for that, right? And so just like we said before, if you take a low dose melatonin and you feel better, your body goes, hey, that's what I need. And that's going to help me feel better. I agree with your decision to take that. You take it and feel worse, your body goes, I got you covered. I'm already making as much as we need to do the work we need with what we can do on our own. So then here you are with cancer and your body's like, yuck, that darn immune system, it should have been ready to go after that human cell that now turned to a cancer cell and nipped it in the bud, got rid of it before it ever got a chance to grow, and actually be diagnosed. Now we're in a position where we got to stop this darn cancer from growing, moving from place to place. What do we got to do? Well, that is where high dose melatonin can come in place, where you go, well, geez, if I don't have cancer, I'm going to be an absolute zombie if I take 5 milligrams of melatonin. I know 30 or 50 milligrams could do the same thing, but a body with cancer is in a whole different place. It sees this melatonin as, wow, this could really help us, right? And we need this high dose melatonin. It's not going to make us a zombie. We're going to use this melatonin for the immune system, not necessarily all of it for sleep, because it kind of makes melatonin for sleep. It makes melatonin for other things. So not all melatonin just is absolutely, hey, this is good to do sleep and nothing else. It actually does a lot of other things. And so these high dose, your body with cancer goes, this is exactly what I need. It's not going to make me feel worse like a zombie and all this kind of stuff. It's going to help me and the immune system stop this cancer right in its tracks so it doesn't get a chance to move forward. And so if you do, let's say 3 milligrams at bedtime with somebody with cancer, every 5 to 7 days, you increase by 3 milligrams, you work your way up to 30 milligrams, let's say, almost never are they going to have, oh, I'm super tired with this stuff. Oh my gosh, it's making me a zombie. Because a body with cancer is different than a body without cancer. The body with cancer goes, ooh, I like this stuff. And I like it at these higher doses because it's going to help me deal with this darn cancer thing. And that's why I can take this high dose where somebody that doesn't have cancer, never in a million years would probably feel good on 30 milligrams of melatonin. But the body with cancer is a different body, right? And so you can use it. And if you have cancer, you want to use it long term so that ideally you can stop the progression and keep it from ever progressing again. Or, you want to make sure you have adequate melatonin production, or you're taking enough melatonin to at least be in a position to decrease cancer risk. If you've had cancer in the past and ideally gotten rid of it, you used to want to get that cancer to come back. You don't want new cancer. So that's part of doing our due diligence to put somebody in a position to not get cancer again once they've had cancer. Yet, want to get rid of the cancer, chemo, radiation, surgery, but you also want to get rid of the reason why you got the cancer, such as maybe inadequate melatonin production, so that you never have to deal with cancer again. Thank you very much.